right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. We have a really special guest with us. We have Tonya Buck with us, and she's a holistic horse trainer as well as an author. So Tanya, she believes in a holistic animal approach, which incorporating the horse's physical, mental, and emotional state combined with reciprocal communication from us. So that's the most beneficial in creating a bond for champions. Her ongoing work is to better the world as the horse drives her to keep doing what she does. So she's a horse advocate, an author, horse trainer, a riding instructor, a Reiki master. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. You can let me know. And a horse judge as well. So, and if that list isn't long enough, she's also a member of the Front Range Animal Evacuation Team in Colorado and on the board of Happy Endings Animal Rescue in California. So thank you, Tanya, so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just wanted to ask you a couple questions and get your feedback on our topic we got going on today. So I know you have a background as a riding coach, so maybe you can give us some tips on how would you recommend helping keep both the horse and the rider calm before an event?
I think that the biggest thing is to have both parties on board, which sounds crazy, but honestly, if I'm teaching someone, say a child, and the parents don't listen and say the kid wants to do one thing and the parents want to do another, or say they drive the child too far, too fast, then that child is not really on board, and he may be, or she may be riding a $80,000 horse who is on board. So I only have half the equation. Mm-hmm. And if I can put both parties, horse and rider, on the same page, and this goes for anything, showing or not, it's better, you know, because then both are willing and looking in the same direction. Even though the horse doesn't know he's competing, he does know that he likes his person, mm-hmm. and he likes his job, and he likes knowing what's coming and what's where he's headed. So I don't know if that answered it, but that's, I think if they're both on board, they're both on the same page, and then the day of competition comes and one or both are nervous, because that happens.
Right.
It's go back to basics and do something fun. If I can get the person, the human half of the equation laughing, that's good. Or smiling or joking or whatever. And if I can get the horse to pay attention to anything that the handler asks for, whether it's me or the owner, because sometimes I have to step in, you know, and just kind of calm everybody.
Right.
So
bring them back to basics too.
Yeah.
I hear you there. So say, like, for example, you're in a competition, and it happens all the time. It's just those nerves, you get excited, and just to calm them down, just, you're saying to go back to the basics and just kind of do something fun for both the rider and the horse.
Yes, and something that is non-competitive. So if we're at a show for dressage, mm-hmm. and everybody's uptight, the horse is screaming, the rider's crying, because that happens. Right. You know, a lot of times the best thing to do is go for a walk. We'll walk around the grounds and go far away. We'll talk about different things, joke, you know, ask about something totally unrelated to horses. Because, you know, as a trainer, I become very involved with my clients just because it happens. You're together a lot. So working with horses, sometimes you have to work not with horses, if that makes sense. If I work with the human on whatever, you know, ask about their child or ask about their spouse or whatever, sometimes that just changes the channel enough that they take a breath and relax, and then they can go to their horse and calm them. They can do it. And that's the goal. It is about having a partner, in the sense, not a partner like where everybody's equal. I don't mean that. I mean a partnership where the horse looks to the human for help, but the human knows how to help that horse. It's critical. that
Trust.
part of it. Yeah, the trust and the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And at home, that's what we work on as much as the the nitty gritty stuff. Like, keep your heels down, put your shoulders back, hold, blah, blah, blah. We all hear that, but, and that's important stuff, but I can fix that in 6 weeks. I can put that package, that pretty together, but I can't do it if the basics are not there, and the communication is critical.
Yeah.
So
I see what you're saying too. Just bring balance to the rider so they can help the horse. So if the horse is already excited, just a new environment, things like that. And then the rider can help calm the horse down and then just bring him back to the basics, something non-competitive. I see what you're saying there. Just something.
well, yeah, how when you're with your horse, it's never one way. It's never a one-way street. There's that give and take back and forth. And the people who don't hear their horses, I think, have more struggles. They have more trials. They have more accidents. They have more problems because they're not hearing. And the horses, they don't speak. Like, we're talking, sometimes that part is hard for me. Even as an author, it's hard for me. I should be good with words and I'm not, but don't tell anyone. But I, it's that silent language that when I am with a new horse, especially, we're sizing each other up on, are you listening? Are you paying attention? Do you see me? Do you hear me? Do you feel me? And it really is more feel than hearing or speaking or anything. And it's an energetic feeling that I tap into first for both the owner and the horse. So if I come to your place and you're a new client and you say, I want to do ABCD, I say, okay, I'll go and I meet both of you and look at where you're at independently and then where you're at together. Because that tells me where the holes are, what I need to fix, what I need to put you on the same page. And that happens way before any competition.
Yeah.
It really must.
Yeah. So you see the balance from the rider's perspective and then the horse, and then together to see the combination. So,
yes. And sometimes it's not there. Sometimes it's so far off base, I can't even tell you. And then I have to say, okay, how much will it take for me to put them on the same, not on the same page, in the same book? Sometimes it's that far apart. If you're on the same page, in the same book, on the same day, these are all pluses. If you're not, it's a losing proposition. I don't care how well trained that horse is.
Yeah.
I can't send you into the ring and cross my fingers and hope.
Right.
It's not going to work. The basic, the fundamentals are so important. They're more important to me. To me, they're more important than anything, because from then you already know, as you're going in the ring, where you're going to fall. You already know how well you ride. You already know how good you and your horse are together. You know what I mean?
Right. And the hardest times too.
Yes. Yeah. And so it's, it's that feeds into your primary question of how do you keep the animal first and the sport second. And for me, that's like, it's a weird question in my own world, but in the real world, it's a question that's so incredibly important to ask. Because in many disciplines in the horse world, that seems to not matter. It seems that the horse comes second or eighth, and that other things come first. To me, I can't imagine not. I don't even know what that would look like. How do I not put the horse first? Right. Now, when I'm teaching or coaching anybody, I want that human safe. That's number one. Right. Number one, keep the human safe. Number two is take care of the horse, but it's not really 1-2. It's kind of 1-1, if that makes sense. They're kind of equal, Yeah. And by keeping the horse safe, by that horse feeling safe, then the rider is safe. Because an unsafe feeling horse will react. And not everybody knows how to keep up with that. Most people don't know. So, yeah.
Especially with horses. I mean, it's just it's a little different, of course, than dogs, because it's just a factor that is so much bigger than us. But it sounds like it's very similar in routines of just having some, you go back to the basics, and then you have a relationship with the owner, I guess you can say, the rider or the handler, and the animal, and having that relationship, and just having a routine. And like you say, you go do that as a repetition, before you even go close to a ring or any kind of show. So
don't you think that the competition, most times, don't you think, in the show world, not racing, not timed events, but in a show, like an equitation class even, the competition, I think, is with the person, with themselves, with their past. This is how well I did before. This is how well I can do now in dressage, especially because you know what your score was. You're trying to beat that sucker. Can I get a higher score than I had last week? Well, you are competing against others, but really you're competing with yourself. Have I improved? And so asking the question why you are competing can also take care of how to keep the animal first, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with you on, just you have to, the why is very important.
Yeah.
I mean, each situation is going to be different, how people perceive their scores. It's a team. Some people see it as a team, but they might be riding on a different horse. So it just depends on the scenario. But I hear what you're saying on that. But what rings out to me is like the why. Why are you doing this competition?
Yes.
I think that's, great reason or a good point before you even get on a horse or get into a ring. Why are you doing this? Why are you bringing this animal into this with you?
Exactly.
And it's there. Yeah.
Because if their answer is, I want a lot of trophies, I send them to someone else. I really do. It's not my goal. My goal is not, and I'm very upfront with them on that, with anybody who wants to work with me. If they come to me and say, I want a show, I want to win, I want a lot of trophies, I want the blues, I want my horse to earn money. I paid $150,000 for him. I need to make money back. I say, you know what? I'm really not your person. Thank you for considering me, but that cannot be my goal.
Number one.
I don't.
Can't be the number one reason.
No,
yeah.
It can't be because if personally, and this is not for anyone else, just for me, if I say, yeah, I can help you, earn money, get trophies, whatever, then I am actually saying, I'm going to put the sport first. I'm going to put your wallet first. I'm going to put your desires first. I'm going to put a whole bunch of stuff way ahead of the horse, the relationship, the entire experience. And I think most people have horses not because they just want all the glory. They want that relationship. Yes. There's something magical, that little girls, little boys, they want to see that, whatever it is, whatever image. Yeah. So why lose that? Why? So I just don't want to do it. So I send them down the road. It's all good.
I hear you. And it gets a little convoluted, when money comes into play. Yes. All of a sudden those priorities start changing a little bit, and then you start wavering on what you think, oh, well, it was just a second, it was only dangerous for a second, So, But I mean, what would you recommend on like a safety tip for, people who are, traveling, and they really do want to have a relationship with their animals, and they're doing a competition that they think that they're very capable of doing with their animal. What do you recommend for traveling, for example?
Do you mean like in the trailer? Do you mean, what do you mean?
Just in general, like safety tips that people can be aware of, like how can I help put my animal first? Like versus just, okay, everyone show up at this event and this is how it goes. And like, what would you recommend to just,
I think it sounds like an easy question, right? It sounds like I should be able to answer this in like one sentence, but I can't. It's so huge, because where do I start? So, the usual stuff that everybody knows, the checklist: make sure your trailer's safe, make sure, your tires are good, make sure, check your hitch every time. We all know all those, so I don't need to talk about those. Right. But how to keep your horse safe is more in that it entails the entirety of the horse. It entails his mind, how he's feeling, how he sees the world and what he's doing. It entails sleep, and people forget about that. Horses need to rest, and when they're on the road, especially if there's only one, they are always on guard, because they're getting put into a new barn. If you're traveling out of state, especially, you're going to overnight. So now he's in one new place. Then he gets put back in the trailer. He doesn't know where he's going. He gets in this box. It makes a ton of noise. He gets to eat on the way. Maybe you stop and give him water. And then, boom, magically, he's in a new place with new horses. And he's like, and they do get used to it, or maybe they get, what's the word, desensitized to that. They get used to that routine.
Which is great.
But it's still stressful to them. And that's the part that I think is easy to overlook. Are we paying attention to the fact that he's been in a trailer rocking back and forth because he doesn't have hands, he doesn't have thumbs, he doesn't have a chair to sit in, he doesn't have a seatbelt. He's all the time doing this. And if you're in a slant load, when you stop, he's doing this. So he's slanting sideways and stopping in an unnatural position. Awkward. His back can get sore. His legs can get sore. He's tired. He can't just lean. I don't know why they don't. I wish they would just kind of lean and, hang out, but they can't. They have to keep 4 feet on the ground and not fall over. This is a plus. So, that part of it, the sleep part. If you're going to compete on Saturday, get there Wednesday or Thursday and let him have time to sleep, literally sleep. And you too, because we're always worried about, is my tack ready? Are my clothes clean? Did I polish my boots enough? Remember to eat, remember to feed him. Water is critical. I mean, the answer, I could go on for like a month. So I could.
No, I hear you. So you think maybe even like a buddy horse or some companion animal might help them if they're trying alone? Or?
I do. I think if you have a friend showing and you both can hit the same events and take the two horses together, that's not a bad thing. The bad, or the negative is how I should say it. The negative side is that they become so bonded that they go nuts when you split them. So it's a kind of a double-edged sword. You know what I mean? They then the one is like, oh, I'm gonna die. My friend left. And so it's kind of, you have to know your horse, and it is back to the foundation of relationship and basics and paying attention and listening. I think I am a Reiki master. That's how you say that, by the way, not Reiki.
Reiki,
and that is just energy work. I just basically can help the horse through using energy, him, feel better emotionally, physically, whatever. It's not magical, but it seems like it sometimes. Body work, massage, acupuncture, if there's somebody on site, and these days there are. You can find somebody to braid your horse's mane and tail, but you can also find somebody to give him acupuncture, which is crazy in how much it helps them on all levels.
I've seen it myself too. Yeah, it is. It's amazing what it can do. People don't believe it. It's like, give it a try.
And maybe if, some people are extremely nervous in competition. I am. When I compete, I'm a mess. And I'm not, I mean, really and truly, I'm just not good at it. Some people, they keep their cool, they're calm, they're fine. I'm not. I'm a complete hot mess. I hate it because I'm so bad at controlling that part. Now I can take care of my horse. I can take care of my client. I can take care of everybody else. But for myself, I fall apart. Many of us are this way, but acupuncture, Reiki, massage, those three things help me. And so if I need to be calming myself, that's what I turn to. And meditation, because it helps me. Not that I'm great at meditation, trust me, but for a few minutes, by golly, I can get it, and then it's toast. Yeah. But you put everything together, and remember that your horse he's a physical guy, and he likes motion, and he reacts with motion, and we can never control the motion 100%. We can't. They weigh 1,200 pounds, and we don't. Right. Thankfully, but we can't physically control that, but we can help them control their emotions and learn how to deal with their own anxiety using a ton of techniques. Some just repetition. Let him do something that he knows and feel good about that and be praised, and then he'll breathe and calm down. Some through acupuncture or Reiki or massage, just relaxing, and it sounds crazy, but if you know horses, you can go up to them and put your hands on their face and then on their eyes like this, over their eyes, and you watch. The head will lower, the breaths will deepen, and they will relax. And before going into the ring, I will do that with my clients' horses every time. And we always I think we have a better ride than we would have. How do I know? Because I always do it. But hey, it sounds good.
You can do it.
Sounds good to me. I'm going with it.
They're relaxing. That's, get a breather. I can see the benefits for sure on that too.
Yeah. Even a speed event. You don't want your horse, at a red line level.
Yeah. Just, it's so stressful on them, all amped up like that.
Yeah. So calm them and then ask them to move. They will. And they move. I think they move better. They pay more attention. They're more in sync with their rider. They'll do their flying lead changes when they need to, instead of, just scrambling. You've seen them. They just scramble so much sometimes. Yeah. So I use it for every single event, whether it's a speed event or, a Western pleasure, don't move too fast event. It works, and I find that the rider, no matter the age, because we are so tuned in to our horses, whether we know it or not, because some people have no clue, but really you're sitting on this animal, and if he's tense, you're going to know it, whether you acknowledge it or not. So if the horse is calm, the rider goes in calmer. So as a competitor, you're going to compete better if you're aware, present, and mindful. And if you're like me and a complete nutcase, you're not any of those things.
Maybe you should do some repetition.
I just quit competing is what I did. I was like, all right, not good.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And, nerves all get the best of us at some point in time. And I think that just drives it home with, routine. If you're practicing for a competition, maybe just do like a faux routine, like a faux competition, like just pretend like you're at a show. What would you do at a show, and kind of just run through it, and that might help. I know all of them are different, but just the idea of, okay, first in the morning I do this, it's a checklist, and it's the same thing, and
and like anything else, the more you do it, the more comfortable you become. So that's good, but
with horses, when it's a routine, that would be a routine, they would get used to it. So
yeah. And they like that, horses like to know what you expect and what's coming. And they like to, have that consistency. Consistency is hugely important. Yeah.
Yeah. So just day to day, just a routine like that, having something like that.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I was also, there's some other questions I have for you too, because it is expensive to compete. What would you recommend if you're on a time budget, as well as for just financial budget? Who would you surround yourself with to help as a team, like you and your horse, or you and your animal?
It is a great question. That question is good, and I think that the most important person to to have help you is someone who knows what you are wanting to do, has done it, has helped others, and can support you in your own individual way that you need. Now, a trainer, trainers charge between X and Y, and in any given geographical area, that number is going to be different. And it's just whatever is the going rate.
Discipline.
So even if you don't have a lot of money, go with the best one that you can afford on a semi-regular, if not regular basis. It is critical. If you have a trainer that is, would score like maybe a 6 out of 10, you're going to always score 6 out of 10. And because you can't teach what you don't know. So I think getting the best that you can get for your discipline, for your goals, for your situation is important to get that trainer on board. With a good trainer, speaking as a trainer, I am a trainer, but I'm also trained, I was pre-vet in college. So I have a lot of medical background. I'm halfway decent at looking at a horse and seeing if they're lame or off or whatever. I know how to check backs and see if the back is sore. I know how to saddle fit. I know how to look at conformation and say, yeah, this horse is good for what you want to do, or, really maybe you should.
So genetics in that sense too, we're saying like just the breed itself is important to keep in mind. Yeah.
Well, and if not the breed, the physical characteristics and conformation. A reining horse is not a dressage horse. It just isn't. He could do both. Horses can do anything, but they're not going to do it well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like
if you're asking, to those levels. So that's
I'm good at math, and so I don't do math. I married an accountant because that's how I got out of that one.
That's a distraction.
I'm good, but I can do it. I just don't like it. So I look at horses the same way. Is this horse an accountant or is this horse an oil painter? And the two are very different. They're very different. So I think having a coach or a trainer who can recognize your attributes as well as your horses is phenomenally important. The other stuff all counts, trust me, but that one counts most.
Yeah.
A good trainer will save you in vet costs. A good trainer can look at you and say, look at your horse and say, no, that's nothing, or which I would never say. I don't say that because then I'm taking responsibility. I'm diagnosing. I can't do that. But I can say, well, if it were my horse, I would hose it down, or I would, whatever I would do.
Right.
And if you're tight on money, that is critical. Plus time wise, the best way to heal him fastest. And trainers should know that. I'm sorry, but they should know this, so
they should.
They should. Not all do.
Help your customers.
Well, in this country, in the US, we don't, you can go through a course and get a piece of paper that says you're a trainer. You don't have a clue. You've worked exactly one horse in your life, but now you're a trainer. And that is a huge question. Is that how it should be? Is that right? Because, and then again, do we want government control over that? And that's a touchy subject. You want to get people riled up past that one, not good. But
that'll be another day.
Another day, not today. We're not going there, girlfriend. We're not going there.
I hear you. So. Well, also, because we're running a little short on time now, but I just wanted to make sure we mention to visit your site for Tonya Buck. And she's got some free gifts for everybody too. So she's got a free copy of The White Horse. It's a novel by Tonya Buck. And so there's another one too for its long distance Reiki, right? Reiki sessions?
Yeah, Reiki.
Thank you. Reiki.
Yeah. And that's energy work that I can do on any animal that you want or any human. I will do that on a person. It's just just Google Reiki, Reiki. You can see if you prefer to have that. I had to limit that because I just don't have time to give out 3,000 of those. I would never get them done, and I don't want to promise something I can't do. So I forget what we did.
You
20.
said 20. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great. So the first 20 who go to the link and sign up for her classes here, the sessions, you get its value of $100. That's amazing. So take advantage of that, and then see her novel. It's free for White Horse, and that the link will be next to the video here as well. So don't forget to take a look and check out her website.
Yeah.
Feel free to ask us questions, and we just really appreciate you spending time. And thank you again, Tanya, for spending this time with us and giving us some of your insight on that.
Thank you very much for having me. And if anyone wants to contact me, just go to info@tonyabuck.com and I will happily answer. It's always fun to meet new people around the world and make new friends. And I appreciate you having me. Thank you very much, Kelly.
Absolutely. All right, we'll talk soon.
Okay, thank you. Bye.